Good evening and welcome to Paulus Hill Junior Stadium. It's a new season for Thornton Academy. Golden Trojan Athletics. It's a field hockey opener. It's Cheverus against Thornton Academy. Of course, we have a lot to talk about tonight as it is a brand new field, a new turf field. We have new lights, a new track, a lot to talk about again. But first, we're going to talk a little bit about Cheverus, their opponent. Last year, they went to the state championship game, and of course, Michael Hoffer from the Forecaster here with me. I followed that team, and it was just a Cinderella run. And what is going to be different about the team this year, losing one of the best players in the state, in Emily Sawchuk?
Yeah, no question. They are a very different team this year. They didn't only lose Emily, and she's a huge loss. You can't understate that. She's a huge loss. And they lost a few kids to transfer as well. So it's a case of maybe not a rebuilding year, but it's a case of it's going to take them a little while to get up to speed. There's still some very good athletes on this team. Sarah LeCaire is a great player. You're going to see her emerge as one of the state's best this year, I think. So she's a great starting point. But there are a lot of question marks, and I think it's a kind of a young team that Coach McMullen's going to have to bring along slowly, but I'm very confident she will, by the end of the year, have a very good team.
Yeah, and obviously Cheverus is a team that's lost to Thornton Academy the last two regular seasons, usually at the end of the year. So I was talking to Coach Mack this week. She said she was very excited to get them early in the year. Thornton Academy, a very young team as well, but a very fast team. And so even though Cheverus hasn't played too much on turf, they obviously had a good run in the playoffs last year. So what do you think? How do you think the turf's going to come into play today?
Well, I think teams like to play on turf, especially those that play on grass. It's just more fun. I mean, you get the truer bounce, you get the truer roll. I mean, unless you're in one of those situations where you have the tall grass and that's really a home field advantage for you, I think most teams like playing on it. And let's face it, this is new for Thornton Academy. So it's not like they've been playing on this other than for their limited practices so far this season. So I think it's not really a huge advantage one way or the other. It'll certainly provide for a truer bounce, truer roll, and I think both teams will adjust pretty well.
Now, obviously, again, like you said, Cheverus lost a lot of parts. They have some injuries in the preseason. Brooke Flaherty, one of their midfielders, has been out for most of the preseason. But what do you see for this team down the road? Obviously, when they get to play the Scarboroughs and the McCaulays and some of the other teams, and as they go towards the playoffs, what do you see for them?
I think they're going to just get better as time goes on. I think early on they might be a little vulnerable as they're trying to hit their stride. It's only been a couple weeks of practice, so it's still a case of the coaches trying to figure out who best belongs where, and you really don't know until a game situation just how people are going to react. So I think, the first couple games it might be a feeling out process. I'm very confident as the season goes on, you're going to see them be very, very good, and even though they might lose a few more games than they did last year or struggle early on, I think by October, mid-October, if they're still around in late October, it's going to be a team that no one wants to face.
Yeah, what are your first impressions of the new stadium first time you're here?
Awesome. I'm very impressed. You can see that this is something special. I know it's been in the works for a while. I'm sure it's something the city is very proud of, and I can only imagine the crowds that are going to be drawn for football games and some of the other big events here. But no, it's very nice. The turf is state of the art. I think it's going to be a great facility.
And last question, just give me a prediction for tonight's game.
Well, I guess it would be fair for the home team to ring in the new stadium with a win, the first countable game here. I'll say Thornton Academy pulls out a close one, maybe 2-1, but I think it's going to be a pretty exciting close game throughout.
All right, well, thanks for Michael Hoffer, and I'm sure we'll see you down the road.
Absolutely, thank you.
All right, so we're only a few minutes from game time, and of course Tyler and I will be calling this game for you. So Tyler, obviously talking about this new field, I mean, obviously it's more than a $1.5 million project, and you're going to be a senior this year. What does it mean for you to kind of be a part of this inaugural season of the new field?
Well, actually, it's funny. I was just looking out over the field and kind of taking it all in as the sun sets here, and it's something that's been going on for a while. I think it's been building up, and TA's been in need of a new stadium for a long time and some new upgraded athletic complexes, and I think that this finally, does the job. And it was a very expensive project, but for those of us who are going to get to see it up close and in person, it's a really special thing because we really care a lot about our athletics here at this school, and I'm sure the community feels the same way. So it's great to see a stadium like this being built, and of course having all these amenities like the turf field and the lights and all that. I think it's going to do a lot of good stuff for this school and the athletic program.
And turf, obviously, for field hockey is a major part of it. I was fortunate enough to cover the Cheverus field hockey team in a documentary last year. Of course, they went all the way to the state championship. I'm not going to take any credit for that, but it happened.
Well.
So, but constantly, whenever they played on turf, they played better. And I think field hockey, if you don't know field hockey, it's a game that should be played on turf. At the college level, it's always played on turf. Unfortunately, in Maine, not all the schools can afford turf, so the ball is very true. So I think, especially today on the new turf, for Thornton Academy's program, it's even if they don't win today against a very good Cheverus team, in the future it's going to be a major stepping point to compete with the Scarboroughs and the Skowhegans who have dominated this class for the last couple of years.
Well, it's been said that, in order to be with the best, you have to have the best equipment, you have to have the best world-class facility, and this certainly brings TA one step closer to getting to that championship that they really have been hoping for over the past couple of years. But it is good to note, too, that Cheverus is new to this field. It's a new field for them, obviously, just put in over the summer. But it's also a new field for TA. They really haven't had a chance to do any live game action on it, besides maybe some preseason scrimmages. So it's going to be interesting to see how both of these teams take in the turf field.
Right. Obviously, some of the captains, Morgan Willett-Foss is a big captain for Thornton Academy. And what have you heard from around, so maybe talking to some of your friends about some of the buzz of this year? A lot of people talk about football, but field hockey, again, every year they made the playoffs the last couple of years, and they're really on a program on the rise.
Like you said, it's a program on the rise. There's been a lot of enthusiasm toward this program. Obviously, last year they had a very good run toward the playoffs and a little bit into the playoffs. People are really hoping to build on that. They're really hoping to root for a team that could go very late into October this season. And really, ultimately, they're hoping to bring home a championship at some point or other. And this stadium, this new facility, definitely it brings that energy to the area for sure.
All right, and so why don't you look right into the camera and we'll give our predictions here. What do you think for tonight's game?
I think that tonight, I think TA is going to take the win 3-1. I think they're going to have a little bit of offense in this game, definitely.
All right, well, I'm going to have to go against the home team here, not just because I had a soft spot for Cheverus, but they're a team that plays very well on turf, and I think. I'm thinking a 4-2 game. I think it's going to be high scoring. I think both teams are still getting used to this turf, but it's absolutely perfect conditions tonight. I mean, it couldn't be nicer. And obviously, you see this new lights on, it should be good. So I'm saying 4-2 Cheverus, but I wouldn't be surprised if Thornton Academy took it.
Sounds like it's going to be a good game.
Absolutely.
Sure.
All right, well, that's going to do it for our pregame show now. We're going to take a little break, and when we come back, it'll be game time right here at Paulus Hill Junior Stadium. It's Thornton Academy versus Cheverus Field Hockey. It's the big opener right here in just a couple minutes. All right, we are set for first half action. It looks like Thornton Academy is going to have control of the ball. And again, in field hockey, we have 2 30-minute halves of running time, so that's always good. Again, beautiful weather. It's got it. Well, you're the weatherman. Why don't you tell me?
It is gorgeous tonight. I have to say, I think this could be the best night for a long time when it comes to the weather. Definitely perfect conditions, temperatures in the 60s with a mix of sun and clouds. I think we're looking at a great inaugural game here at the stadium.
Obviously, the other side of the field is not ready yet, so that's why we're over here on the visitor sideline. But Thornton Academy gets it underway as they're going left to right as you're watching on television. And it's the first violation against Cheverus as Thornton Academy will bring it down. Pretty good crowd on hand as well for a field hockey game, even though it is the first game of the new stadium and new season. We're going on the red lines, of course, as you're looking on the field. It's kind of tough to see them all, but the red lines are what counts tonight. It's Stacey Swallow and then number 18 for Cheverus as she moves it down. That's going to be a violation and Thornton Academy will take over. So obviously, Tyler, the first couple minutes will be feeling out process for both teams. It's, again, the first time they've really been against other competition since maybe some scrimmages, but this is a different field tonight.
Yeah, exactly, especially on this new turf field like we were talking about in the pregame. Definitely both teams trying to get a feel early on here just to see how the ball reacts to being on the turf. Obviously, it is ideal conditions for field hockey, but still, it takes a little bit of getting used to for the first game of the season.
You can already see some of the black rubber substance coming up from the turf, and again, Thornton Academy, they bowed on the playoffs last year to Bonnie Eagle, a tough loss in overtime, but obviously they come in this season with a lot of hope, a lot of young speed on the team, and Coach Laura Smith, when I was at practice the other day, said that they have some injuries as well. Both teams here are suffering from some injuries, but that's part of the game, and so we'll see how they react. As Thornton Academy controlling possession right now, but not really getting any chances.
And it is worth noting, too, that this is the inaugural game for this new field, that this is the first official game to be played on here for any sport, not just field hockey. Absolutely. So literally the first time that live game action being held on the new turf field.
Looks like obviously game started at 6:30, so by the end of this game we'll probably see these new lights on, and I'm pretty excited about that. Haven't seen the new lights on the new field, so.
Very excited to see that, for sure.
Let's go! Thornton Academy again, there's Katie Walsh there for Cheverus on the other side of the field. And it's going to be a violation. Of course, every time the ball hits a player's foot, it goes to the other team. There's a lot of quirky rules, I guess you can say, in field hockey, but once you kind of get used to them, then you really understand the game a lot better.
And you can see early on here, we've already had a couple of those violations with players just either having their feet in the way or the ball bounces just the wrong way, and of course, that's the result.
So obviously for Cheverus, you want to look at number 22, Sarah LeCaire. She's on attack right now, the senior. Of course, scored bunches of goals last year, but again, she's going to have to be the playmaker this year. And here comes Stacey Swallow, number 18 for Cheverus. She moves it forward. That's LeCaire. It's going to be a violation. Cheverus in a very good position right outside the circle. Of course, they're going to try to get a penalty corner. That's Stacey Swallow, and then they're going to have to move him back.
Cheverus bringing a little bit of pressure early on here, trying to test this TA defense, see what they're made of early on.
That's Katie Roy, number 20. She's actually an ice hockey star, but also plays defense here for. That's a shot on from Sarah LeCare. That's a scramble right in front, looking for a corner of the first goal. But Thornton Academy looks like they're going to be able to get it out of the circle. That's LeCare. That one's deflected again. Scramble right in front. In front of the goal, that's still, and it's in. It's the first goal, and it's Emily Rodriguez, this junior. Last year only scored a couple of goals, but this year she's going to be very vital to Cheverus, and obviously we're just 3.5 minutes into this game. Cheverus really putting on the pressure, and they get that first goal.
And she is well on her way to having a pretty good season if that's how most of her games play out. Definitely a nice goal there. You can see Cheverus just kept with the play. They did not give up, kept putting pressure right in front of the goal, and obviously that was the key to that score right there.
You know, it's very important in field hockey, obviously, is keeping with the play. Sometimes it looks like the ball's going to go out, and all of a sudden, all it takes is one little hit to get back in the circle.
Exactly.
Put that one away. She's, again, one of the players, the departed Emily Sawchuk, who, I'll tell you, had one of the hardest shots I've ever seen. Except for maybe Lexi Carter here at Thornton Academy a few years ago. But obviously if Rodriguez can step up and help LeCare, then Cheverus is going to be a pretty tough team to beat, but we'll see how Thornton Academy responds.
Definitely the more offensive weapons you have, the better off you're going to be later on in the season, and of course if you're hoping to make the playoffs. And it looks like Cheverus has a couple of options as they go forward.
Go after it.
There are a couple newcomers to the starting lineup, at least for Cheverus, and we'll kind of go through those as they come up. That's Brooke Flaherty, number 13. Again, she's a basketball star, played a lot of games last year for Cheverus. However, was injured most of the preseason with a sprained ankle, so first game action for her this season. And that's the first corner of the match. It's going to be Thornton Academy's corner, so they'll take it in from the end line, as most of the Cheverus defenders have to retreat to midfield. New rule this year is that you have to have the ball come out of the circle before bringing it back in and shooting it. So we'll see how that affects them on turf.
And a lot of people within the game apprehensive of that new rule, not sure how it's going to work for both the team that is having it done against them and the team that is using the penalty shot. So it's interesting to see if it'll be a successful rule or not.
Looks like it's going to be Morgan Willett-Foss taking it out for Thornton Academy.
And she is a very solid player for that team, one of the captains this year, and definitely one of their highlight players.
Over to the side, it's Lauren Russell, number 41. That's going to be another corner. Every time it goes into a foot, it's going to be a corner when it's inside the circle, and another good chance for Thornton Academy to tie this game up just 5 minutes in.
No, I still want to know why the girl's on the stage. I don't remember that. Yeah, what is that? I don't remember that.
And it'll be Foss yet again. Top circle, did go out.
Just barely, but it was out.
And she actually keeps it in. A very good save there to keep the play alive, but it comes out of the circle. And Flaherty's able to clear it out. And here comes Cheverus.
Good defense by Cheverus there.
Obviously, penalty corners is something you usually have set plays for, just like on free kicks in soccer. However, sometimes it just don't work out if the ball bounces the wrong way. Here comes LeCare. She's running. This is a 30-yard run so far for her. Number 17 over there, Alex Logan. She's a newcomer to the team this year. Looking to take their place of also Gabby Cardona, who was a big part of Cheverus' team last year, transferred to Portland. She'll be playing for the Bulldogs this year. And it looks like it's going to be a violation on Thornton Academy, as Katie Walsh has a chance in a good position for Cheverus.
And a lot of good movement here early on for both these teams. The ball's been up and down the field a couple of different times, so that's good news for TA, even though they are down by 1 goal, that they are moving the ball at least somewhat here.
Great run by Thornton Academy on the end. Again, on turf, you can have a big run. There goes Caitlin Hilton over there, number 1 for the Golden Trojans. And again, on this turf, you're gonna really find out how conditioned you are, because you can really go up and down the field, unlike on grass, where sometimes you get stuck in the mud, literally. Through the midfield, there's Thornton Academy taking back over. Jackie Plant. And that's Willett-Foss bringing it into the attacking zone for Thornton Academy, trying to earn a free position attempt.
Good pass there, but no one there.
Absolutely. Swallow tries to get rid of it, but it's going to be a violation. It's the feet of Rodriguez, and it's going to be a free hit for Thornton Academy. Sends it into the circle. Tries the backhanded shot. Still right on the doorstep. Very tough for Cheverus to get it out, but they're unable to clear. And finally, Swallow will take it out of the circle, and a good lift over the Thornton Academy attacker, Francesca Petrucci. All right, Thornton Academy recovers. It's going to be Cheverus' ball as they can try to hustle back down the other end.
That was a nice run up the sideline too there to get it out. Good defense being played by Cheverus at this point.
Odd man rush, maybe. If they hurry, it's Rodrigue trying to play it away. Come Petruzzi.
Here we go, turn around.
That's out of play, and that'll be number 20, Katie Roy. It's funny, obviously I know the Cheverus team names a little more than the Thornton Academy names.
Well, you got an up close look at them last season, didn't you, with the documentary?
The best part of that was the spaghetti suppers. They always used to feed me spaghetti suppers.
So you got well fed during the season.
I can't complain on that front. But it's the new year. Anything can happen. Certainly Scarborough looks like it's going to be a very tough team again. But obviously Thornton Academy and Cheverus will be in the mix. But of course, you want to talk about dynasties. Skowhegan field hockey, a dynasty. They've won, I think, something like 10 out of the last 11 Class A state championships. So that is a team that looked absolutely unbeatable last year in the state championship of an 0-0.
And actually, it's funny you talk about having some pretty personal relationships with the players on the Cheverus team. My cousin actually played for Skowhegan, and definitely they have something good going on up there, and they don't want to let it go. They're very much into it.
Goal in that championship game too.
She probably did. She's pretty good. Not to boast, but she definitely has a solid handle on the game, and very good to see Skowhegan doing well. But you would like to see maybe some of these other teams like Cheverus, like TA, getting into that championship game and maybe coming away with a win if we could.
The only team to beat the Skowhegan team in the last couple of years for state championships was Scarborough Red Storm. They finished an undefeated season with a overtime win over Skowhegan. Actually covered that game, and they absolutely went crazy. And Skowhegan didn't know how to react. They hadn't lost in something like 9 years. So it looks like we're having some kind of discussion on the field here. I'm not sure exactly what's going to be happening. Looks like they're talking to some of the Cheverus captains. I don't know if it was...
It's worth mentioning, too, while we have a break here, that on this new turf field, obviously talking about the ball bouncing and how it's rolling, but also the players. I know that a lot of the football players, and I'm sure a lot of the field hockey players, a little bit nervous for injury because obviously it's a new field, very slippery with the turf, and even with that rubber underneath, it's going to be interesting to see if that affects player injuries at all during the coming season. Hopefully not, of course, but always something to keep in mind.
I'm not sure exactly what happened. It looks like we're going to have almost like a face-off, which you almost never see in field hockey. But once in a while, the referees have to kind of make up their own rules if they can't figure out exactly how to do it. So we'll see what happens here. It's going to be Sarah LeCaire against, can't tell the number right there on the Thornton Academy player, but the clock has been stopped. We've got 20 minutes and 57 seconds to go here in the first half. Won by LeCaire. She's going to try to bring it in the circle. She did score a goal last year in the regional final with big win over Bonnie Eagle, the team that beat Thornton Academy. Again, she's a very fast player, and you can always see her running up and down the field box to box. She's the exact kind of player that any team would like to have.
And she definitely seems like the player that Cheverus is putting their team around, definitely forming their team around this season, just banking on her to get those scores and obviously to lead this team.
Puts it right on front, and that's Emily Rodrigue off the rebound, and she scores her second goal of the year.
She is on fire today.
Less than 10 minutes of play, she's already scored as many goals as she did all of last year. It was LeCaire who put it in from probably about 10 to 15 yards away, and it was a save made by the Thornton goalie, but Emily Rodrigue on doorstep. And she put Cheverus up 2-0 here just 10 minutes in.
Again, you can't say it enough. Cheverus fighting hard for the ball, especially near TA's goal, and that's given them 2 goals thus far in the game, and we're only 10 minutes in.
What have you noticed so far from Thornton Academy? Obviously, they had a couple corners down here, but Cheverus really looks like on its turf, they look almost more comfortable.
I'm noticing that TA is a team that prides itself on being a speedy team, and so far you haven't seen a lot of that. We had that one breakaway on the far side, but other than that, it's really been a stagnant game for them. Definitely in order to get back into this, they're really going to have to show those show that speed and definitely hopefully put something down near Cheverus's goal.
That's Stacey Swallow putting it in. And it's Sarah LeCaire, but it's going to be cleared out. That's going to be, looks like it's going to be outside the circle, so it's not a corner. Of course, if the ball goes, I think it's above the waist or above the knee. If it's too high, the referee can say that it's too high, and it's a violation on the Thornton Academy in this case. It's going to be Allie Saxon. She's a senior captain this year. Number 5 sends it into the circle. Of course, last time these two teams met was last year in the senior day for Cheverus. Thornton Academy walked out 2-0 victors. It was a very impressive performance by the Golden Trojans. Both teams were looking pretty good going into the playoffs, but Katrina Thibodeau last year for Thornton Academy, she had a goal that for the ages that she ran about 50 yards down the field before dispatching it into the back of the net. So unfortunately, she had to graduate, just like some of them do. And Thornton Academy looking for some more goal scoring this year. Cheverus controlling possession here. Still a lot of possession in the Thornton Academy zone. Even though Cheverus may not be getting a lot of shots off, they obviously are controlling the game, which can get the defense very tired as we head towards the latter part of the first half.
And they're making their shots count. They're not taking a lot of shots, but the shots they do take, they're definitely making them count against this TA defense. And obviously, it's already put them ahead by a couple of goals.
That was a good save right there by Abby Solinsky as the shot came in from Sarah LeCaire. It was called for a violation because the shot was too high, but still, Solinsky probably needs a confidence booster after giving up 2 quick goals.
And Cheverus just...
Yet again, that's a beautiful pass right there as Rodrigue looks to put it into the circle.
I was just going to say, it looks like Cheverus is almost toying with Thornton Academy at this point where, you know, they're just breaking up all their passes, able to take the ball away from them with ease, it seems like. Definitely Cheverus having an easy goal of it at this point.
It is a long game, obviously 60 minutes, but you don't want to get down 3 or 4 goals in field hockey. It's very difficult to come back, and that's going to be a violation probably on Cheverus. Yeah, but it would be Thornton Academy ball, so.
Well, it is worth noting that my pregame prediction has already gone out the window because Cheverus has already scored 2 goals. So.
We'll see what happens. The funny thing, and obviously we'll talk about this in football, the first game of the year, you just have no idea what's going to happen. This could be Cheverus' only win of the next 5, and Thornton Academy may be going to defeat.
Exactly.
You never know what's going to happen for the rest of this game or the season. And, it is high school athletics, so on any given day, a team can beat another team. So.
And it's important, too, that you don't, you look at 10 minutes and, Cheverus is ahead. They're looking pretty solid at this point. But, again, it's just 10 minutes, first game of the season, first game on the new turf. It really, things could change very quickly here for the Trojans.
Sure. Coach Lori Smith for the Golden Trojans will have some talking points at halftime. That was Rodrigue almost getting a hat trick here. But it was broken up by a good defensive play by the Trojans. That's going to be a violation, and the Trojans will have a chance to bring the ball out. You just kind of feel, we're going to get a timeout before we go into that thought. 2 minutes and 9 seconds to go in the first half. It's been all Lady Stags. It's Cheverus 2 and Thornton Academy 0. We'll be right back right here on Thornton Academy TV. All right, so we're back at it after a timeout. Coach Laura Smith again. What do you think she's trying to say to her players right now? Probably more of a calm down mentality more than X to the nose.
Exactly. I think it's really just telling them, you got to calm down. You got to play smart. Don't let Cheverus get in your head at this point. Obviously, it is a 2-goal lead, but it's really not insurmountable at this point. They can come back from that. They have a lot of time. Really, it's all about being calm.
Absolutely. I mean, again, 2 goals is nothing to sneeze at, but you can come back from it. I think it's going to be more of getting the ball into the Cheverus half, which you haven't seen too much. Being patient on the ball. There's a steal. That was Alice Logan for Cheverus, but it's going to be a violation of Thornton Academy. I think you just feel if they can get a couple good rushes downfield, they're going to get their confidence, and if they can get a goal here before halftime, it's anybody's game.
And early on, they were putting a lot of pressure on the Cheverus goalie, and if they had gotten a score there, it would have been a tie game. Obviously, that didn't happen, but if they can do that again, they're right back in this game.
Obviously, Cheverus has been switching goalies this year. They had Cindy Clark, number 00, who was the hero of the playoff run last year. They also have Libby DeRusso, who's just a sophomore, so they've been switching back and forth, and we'll see how they react tonight. Sometimes last year, Coach Mack would do a half of one goalie and a half of another. It was to kind of split it up a little bit, but we'll see what she does today. So it's again, so far, not a whole lot to do down there.
Obviously, whatever it is, it's working. Whatever they're doing, it's definitely working, judging by last season and their success so far in this game.
It's going to be Allie Saxton, new to the corners this year.
Go, Mary!
That's going to be up to Stacy Swallow. Gives it off to LeCaire. Very nice give and go there, but they're going to be, that's called third-party interference. For those who don't know, you can't cross in front of a player after you pass it to them. It's a very odd rule, and it's one of those things you don't know it until you see it. When I watched that, something didn't look right, so I wasn't surprised when they passed it.
A lot of those nitpicky penalties in field hockey, but definitely very crucial to the game.
There's a couple of things about field hockey you kind of question. Like, you cannot score a goal from outside the circle, so if you did a drive from outside the circle and went in,
no good.
No good. The goalies sometimes will literally stand out, they'll walk out of the goal when they see a shot coming in from deep because they know it can't count, so they'll let it go right in. And,
I'm sure that's very counterintuitive for them, though, watching that shot come in, as any goalie, watching that shot come in.
Kevin Garnett wouldn't let that happen. He would let free throws go up.
Although I have to say, I don't think I'd stand in the goal to begin with if I was a goalie in field hockey. No way.
We're just about halfway through this first half. It's Emily Rodrigue, number 11 for Cheverus, who has the 2 goals for the Lady Stags today. They've really been dominating down this left side, I've noticed. Alex Logan on the other side for Cheverus is a newcomer to this team. But on the left side here, Emily Rodrigue, Katie Roy, and Stacey Swallow have really done a number on the Thornton Academy defense.
And that's the first impressive run Thornton Academy's had in quite some time. At least they've got the ball back over half midfield, I should say. Good to see they're starting to progress down toward the Cheverus goal.
We'll Here comes Stacey Swallow across midfield. He's going to put it ahead. That's Logan. And Thornton Academy clears. Let's see if they can get a run going. The Golden Trojans do have some speed on those wings, but they need to get around the defenders and the fullbacks.
Good move right there.
That was a very good cut inside as Thornton Academy comes in. That was Caitlin Hilton, number 1 for the Trojans, bringing it in.
Get up front, get up front!
Well, they do see the lights are starting to come on here. It's going to be
slowly but surely.
kind of sets over the west.
Obviously, this is a first at Thornton Academy. The lights coming on during an official game.
Absolutely. I did talk to Coach Smith. She said they did practice here last night when there was dark out this night, but this is obviously a different scenario.
Yes, very much so.
Academy controlling possession, but give it away right there. Here comes Swallow. It's a 1-on-4 though, and that was pretty much a doomed run from the start. Very tough in defense.
It was a nice run though. She brought it back at least halfway, which was good to see. But obviously she was just outnumbered at that point.
She's been very active all over the place. And that time she got a little overzealous and took it into a place she probably shouldn't have. Here comes Thornton Academy, they can win at the top of the circle. And Slattery right there for Cheverus, winning the ball eventually and able to bring it out. So that's one of those strength versus strength plays that could have really benefited Thornton Academy if they could have got a corner on it, at least.
The problem for TA on that play was that they didn't have any personnel near the goal. They had a good pass in, but obviously it was all Cheverus at that point. It's very hard to get a goal if you don't have any of your teammates near the goal.
Get it in the middle. No, don't.
There's Stacey Swallow again.
She's up and down the field today.
And down come the right side, it comes comes Cheverus, and that's Logan in the middle, but she gives it away. Logan's just a sophomore, one of the youngest players on the Cheverus team, on the field for either team. You look down up at Thornton Academy's roster, you see 3 seniors on the roster. So again, a very, very young team for the Golden Trojans. And obviously, maybe at halftime, those seniors will be able to give them a little pep talk and try to get them back in this game.
I'm sure a lot of nerves going into this game too. Obviously, when you have that senior presence, a lot of times it can calm you down, but only 3 seniors on the team this year. I'm sure they were a little bit nervous going into today's game.
TA trying to move it in. That's Allie Saxton, number 5. Playing it out.
Stay with it, Lauren. Move up front, move.
Caitlin Hilton putting it in.
Come on. Hold on to the ball.
Swallow trying to clear it up to the top. That's Willette Foss. Willette Foss still fighting with it. Puts it on towards goal. It's going to go just wide of the goal, and that was a really good chance for Thornton Academy. And it looks like we're going to have another timeout on the field. So we got 11 minutes, 53 seconds to go in the first half. The score remains Cheverus 2 and Thornton Academy nothing right here on Thornton Academy TV. So we'll see what Thornton Academy can do after this timeout. And it's very interesting to talk about, the different ways to prepare in the preseason. I know just covering the Cheverus team last year, they maybe had 1 scrimmage in the preseason, mostly practices. This year, they had several scrimmages right in a row last week. So it's very interesting to see how that may change. I mean, they played a couple of teams on turf to practice, and maybe that's kind of showing today that scrimmages may be the way to go sometimes.
I think that after their run last season, they definitely wanted to build upon that this season. And of course, in order to do that, you really have to have good preseason training, and those scrimmages are a great way to get ready for the regular season.
Go, Warren. Right there. Go, Michelle. Drop that ball.
TA with a lot of chances there, but the ball ends up getting taken out, and Cheverus is running up the field. There we go, good movement there, and TA with a good stop. They're bringing it back. Obviously, they had a chance for a goal there, but ball bounced around, got some missed bounces, and as a result, Cheverus did control the ball and get it out of the zone. Now fighting on the far sidelines. It looks like it's a grudge match between TA and Cheverus. It looks like we have a change here. Violation, and it's going to go in Cheverus' favor.
All right, I'm back on here. We had a little battery change. Good thing I checked it right there.
Did I? I tried to fill in for you in the play-by-play.
No, not bad. Okay. Not bad at all. So here comes Thornton Academy. Again, if they can get a goal in the last 11 minutes here, they really will probably have some confidence going in, at least tie it up before the end of regulation. And here comes the Trojans down the sideline. That's Katie Walsh, number 6 for Cheverus.
there's been a lot of movement around midfield with the ball in the past couple of minutes between Cheverus and TA. No one really dominating the ball at this point, but just moving back and forth between the hash marks.
That's how it is in field hockey. Sometimes you can have a few minutes of a lot of chances, then you may have 10 to 15 minutes of struggles. But here comes Thornton Academy, one of their best chances. This Morgan Willette Foss coming down. She's going to send that into the box. Great chance here for the Trojans. But Lauren Russell had a great chance, number 41 for the Trojans, to put that on net, but the defense was able to recover. And that's where the speed of Cheverus came through and was able to take advantage. And that was a really good chance for Thornton Academy to get on the scoreboard.
That was probably their best chance of the night, I would say, looking at their previous opportunities.
There's Russell again, though, going backhand. She shoots, and that goes
very
just
close.
Wide. Russell,
two very good shots in the past 5 minutes for TA.
She did an inverted backhand shot right there, which is a very, very difficult shot. And it almost had the goalie fooled at least. It almost went in. But it's going to go over the end line, and Cheverus escapes. But that, again, Thornton Academy turning the screws a little bit.
Yeah, very close.
To getting that
very
first
close.
goal.
If I were Cheverus, I'd be a little bit nervous right now because they seem like they're back on their heels a little bit more, and TA is definitely pushing the ball forward and trying to jam in the goal.
Here comes Jackie Parent. Brings it into the circle. It's going to be a violation, though. And she's going to have to come out anyway because a little tired. But I can notice, especially Cheverus, too, they're looking a little tired and not as energetic as they were in the first few minutes. That, you know, obviously they've been running here for 20 minutes in the first game. The adrenaline's wearing off, and we're going to see in the second half what these teams are made of.
I think we have a little coaching making over here on the sidelines.
I think it's good.
This little guy has been at it up and down the sidelines.
Starts as a ball boy. That's where you have to start, though, isn't it? Bill Belichick started as a ball boy, I think, one day.
That's awesome. That's very good.
Nice job. Do it again.
And Thornton Academy again with the chances. They're trying to send it through there. That was a very ambitious ball forward, trying to get through a couple of defenders. Alexandra Wallner brings it in. It's going to be right in front. But it's DeRusso for Cheverus kicking it away. And again coming right in front, but Cheverus with defenders, and that's going to be a corner for Thornton Academy. Another good chance coming up for the Golden Trojans. And it almost feels like it's just a matter of time, and Cheverus would love for that halftime horn to sound and go in up 2-0.
I think these next 8 minutes are definitely going to be nerve-wracking for them. TA definitely putting a lot of pressure on this Cheverus defense right now, and you get the feeling that sooner or later, like you said, they are going to find success and at least cut the score in half.
Here comes a corner for the Trojans, brings it out outside the circle, so now it'll come back in, but right onto the stick of Allie Saxton, and she's going to bring it almost, well, that was a little mistake there from Saxton. Should have brought it all the way to the sideline, but instead, she brought it right back into the circle. And I'm sure Coach Amy McMullen will let her know of that very politely at halftime. She should not bring it back into the circle. I think most people could look at this game and say it's a lot like soccer as far as, you know, some of the strategies. Obviously, if you're on defense, you want to bring the ball outside the box and not back in.
Right.
Here comes Alex Logan. 1-on-2, but she stays with it. She's in the circle now. Comes back out, lets LeCaire maneuvering around to delay. Oh, good save there from Solinsky, and it's going to be a corner, however, for Thornton Academy. The referee played advantage there, just like in soccer. If it hits a shoe and it comes back to an attacking player, they will keep playing until the advantage is lost, or, like we saw, a violation. A good save, though, from Abby Solinsky. That would have been 3-0. That would be a very tough deficit.
That was a very solid save. Definitely one of those plays that keeps you in the game, keeps you motivated, and keeps the TA morale up at least a little bit at this point. But this is just what Cheverus needs. They really needed to get the ball out of their zone and bring it down to the TA goal line.
And here comes Emily Rodriguez, sending it forward. Oh, a good deflection right on. That's Allie Saxton. Shot comes in from Stacy Swallow. It's Saxton with it right on the doorstep. It's going to be a corner again, but sent back in right across the face of goal, and Thornton Academy escapes. Now, Allie Saxton,
very lucky.
That's picture perfect from Saxton. After you do the corner, you go right on the post because that ball is going to come right on the post, and she almost got her first goal of the season. But a good response here from Cheverus after a really couple of tough minutes on the defensive end. But about 6 minutes and 15 seconds left here in the first half. 2-0, Cheverus leads. But both teams have definitely looked like scoring. It hasn't been on one side of the fair for the last 15 or 20 minutes. But the first 10 minutes were all Lady Stags.
And if you're TA, it is 2-0 in the other team's favor, but you can take a lot of good things away from this first half. The fact that you stayed in the game, you haven't totally collapsed under the pressure, and of course, you're actually putting pressure on the opposing team's goalie, which always signals good things in any sport, really.
That's Morgan Willette Foss giving it to Alexandra Wallner.
This Thornton crowd finally starting to come alive here. They haven't had a lot to cheer about, but
Another strength v strength right here as Allie Saxon wins it though. She was known as the defensive specialist last year for the Lady Stags, and this year obviously taking a bigger role. That one hit a foot, and the referee didn't call that one against Cheverus, but here comes Rodrigue along the sideline. Stays in barely. Again, we're playing on the red lines, of course.
Hard to see, but definitely you can see the outline right there. And of course, we got our ball boy to keep us in check.
That's right. He's on top of it. That's Swallow with a nice drive to get out of the zone. Thornton Academy with a chance to regroup. Megan Kirby, number 27, nice. And here comes Sarah LeCaire, and we got a 2-on-2 developing. If she can play it through to Alex Logan, and Sarah goes around the defender, so it's a 2-on-1. If she can get it to Logan, that could be a violation there on Thornton Academy, but they let him play on. That was a very good run from Cheverus, but good defense recovery from Thornton Academy. That was a 2-on-1. If she could have played it through to Logan, it could have been 3-0.
And it looked like LeCaire was actually trying to hold back a little bit, wait for her teammates to run up there, and in the process, TA actually was able to catch up and break up that play before anything bad happened.
Thornton Academy survives that run from Cheverus, and they will come back the other way with under 5 minutes to go in the first half. And that's inside the circle, a shot and a save made by Selinsky, a very high shot. I believe that was from LeCaire. And again, Selinsky called into service, and Thornton Academy will get the ball after a Cheverus violation. So obviously Selinsky's really responded after the first 2 goals. Really, neither were her fault, but come back with a couple big saves to keep her team in it.
Seems like she's finally got her bearings down. She definitely seems like she was rattled earlier on in the game by some of those early scores, but she's settled down and really playing smart at this point. Talk about a pressure-filled first day, though. Obviously, today was their first day of school, and knowing that you have this game coming up, I'm sure it was definitely on her mind all day, as it was for a lot of these players. And
of course, on our minds as well, coming for our first broadcast of the season.
The pressure's always on for us when it comes to this broadcasting stuff.
3:30 to go, just under 3:30 to go here in the first half. Thornton Academy trailing Cheverus 2-0. First 10 minutes, again, dominated by the Lady Stags. Since then, it's been very even. Thornton Academy with one really good chance to score, but the shot went just wide of the goal. Not many big saves having to be made by Libby DeRusso, the Cheverus goalie. But that can change in an instant, as again, on this turf, you can go down the other side of the field in just a matter of seconds.
And we've said it before, but TA has a lot of speed, and they've shown glimpses of that speed during today's game, and if they get a good breakaway, obviously that could be very disastrous for Cheverus.
Cheverus, again, controlling possession in the last few minutes. Not too many shots, but here comes Emily Rodrigue, who has both goals today. The junior, maybe will be that prolific scorer Cheverus is looking for. That's a giveaway, and LeCaire puts it on goal. That's going to be saved by Selinsky. Another good save by Abby. That one comes right back in, and that one goes just wide of the goal, and it's going to come out, and it's going to be Cheverus's ball, so it goes over the end line. They get the ball on the side. And we are getting to crunch time here in the first half. It looks like Cheverus is going to take a 2-0 lead in the halftime as we deal with the police cars. So you're going to have to deal with that as we're outside here, not in a ice arena.
Yeah, exactly. Not an enclosed facility at all.
But this is, again, turning into a very gorgeous night. The lights are finally being able to take their shape and not their shape, but their
illumination.
Illumination, there you go. Able to see what they look like here for the first time, and it definitely is going to be a really a neat experience for some of these players. Soccer, field hockey this year. Maybe football. We'll
eventually,
yeah. Football maybe down the road.
I think for now, I've heard rumor that the TA officials are adamant that they want to keep the Saturday tradition alive, but you never know. A couple years down the road.
If the weather happens to be coming on Saturday, they could move the game to a Friday. It's good to have that option at least.
I can tell you that a lot of TA students and some faculty members went to Biddeford last year for the Battle of the Bridge, which was played at night. Great game. Definitely something that they'd love to see here, I'm sure.
All right, we have 1:20 to go in the first half. Again, we're all running time. The only time the clock stops is when a goal has been scored. And we've had 2 of those. Really, the players of the game for Cheverus so far has been Stacey Swallow in the midfield, and you got to hand it to Emily Rodrigue, who has the 2 goals. Right place, right time, both times for the junior.
And she is definitely making a case to be a strong part of the Cheverus team, for sure.
For Thornton Academy, Caitlin Hilton's is number 1 has been a spark plug, as well as Morgan Willette Foss, unable to get their first goal into the back of the net. Under a minute to go, 50 seconds. Thornton Academy with one more chance here. Brooke Flaherty.
And this would be huge for the Golden Trojans if they could put one in the net.
That's going to be a violation. You see Brooke Flaherty again out for the preseason. She only played a little bit here in the first half, just trying to get her bearings, but she's going to be another monster player for Cheverus this year. 30 seconds to go for the Trojans. That's going to be a violation on Thornton Academy, so Katie Walsh down there will take it. And that'll pretty much probably do it here for the first half, unless it's a bad giveaway for Cheverus. And under 10 seconds to go. As the ball's intercepted around midfield, and the clock is going to run out here on the first half. So, first 10 minutes of this game dominated by Cheverus. They scored 2 goals. Emily Rodrigue after 3.5 minutes, the first goal, and then 9.5 minutes for the second goal. And since then, it's been pretty even. What are your thoughts on the first half?
I think that TA definitely calmed down after those first 10 minutes. They obviously let in those 2 goals, but after that, they played a pretty solid game, moving the ball up and down the field, playing some good defense, putting some good shots on goal. Definitely not out of this game by any means. And if they can have a solid halftime talk, maybe a pep talk to get back into the second part of this game, then I think they have a lot of good opportunities, a lot of good things happening. For Cheverus, obviously going out there, scoring those first goals, really put them in a good place. They were able to kind of relax a little bit, play a little bit more relaxed, and I'm sure it got rid of the nerves that they were feeling, because of course they were feeling some at the beginning of the game, and definitely those go away pretty quick if you score a couple of goals.
All right, well, we're going to take a little break here, and we'll be back for second half action. This is 2-0 Cheverus against Thornton Academy, and you're watching Thornton Academy TV. Well, we're just about ready for the second half, as everybody enjoyed a very well-deserved break, and you really can tell the lights are in full bore here. And I tell you, it's funny, you know, you see that I've seen the drawings for the last year or so, and when it comes out exactly the way it's drawn up, I don't know why I'm surprised, but it looks beautiful here. And obviously, I'm really excited for the first football game, the first soccer games on this field as well.
It's just very cool to see the lights come on for the first time. Obviously, something that school officials and a lot of TA fans have been dreaming about for a while now, and to see it actually happen and be a realization is really very cool to see.
So much more flexibility with the field space. They're able to do night games, night practices as well. Here comes the Cheverus goalie, a little late on the field.
Hey, when you're up 2-0, better late than never, right?
Looks like it's going to be LeCaire in the middle for Cheverus. It's going to start us off here for the second half. And that is a change in goalie. It's going to be number 00, Cindy Clark.
So they are doing that split goalie that you were talking about earlier. They are doing split goalies
for today. So here comes LeCaire right off the face-off. Good stick skills from the senior. Intercepted, though, by Lauren Russell for Thornton Academy. And you really think you're going to see a big, I don't want to use the word blitzkrieg, but a big push forward from Thornton Academy here in the first 5 to 10 minutes, because they know, the later it gets, the clock is not their friend.
And that's when Cheverus had their most success in the first half, so if Thornton Academy can duplicate that success here in the second half, they actually have a legitimate shot at least tying this game or getting close to tying this game.
Stop that ball. Let it go, Lauren.
And here comes Cheverus down the right side. They had a lot of success on the left side with Emily Rodrigue and Stacey Swallow last time, with Katie Roy in support. This time going on the right side with number 17, Alex Logan. And that's going to be a violation on Thornton Academy, as Katie Walsh will come up from her fullback position. And it's Logan, puts it back into the middle. Swallow swings and misses. And a violation, and Thornton Academy will take over.
And Stacey Swallow has done a lot of the behind-the-scenes work for Cheverus in this game so far. She has just been up and down the field, making plays, making runs, really doing a lot of good stuff for them in the first half.
Cheverus coming back in. That is a shot coming inside. That's Elise Coleman, number 23. But Thornton Academy is able to clear it out, almost out of play.
Very good save there.
Probably would have been better letting it go out of bounds sometimes,
Sometimes when you get in the moment, you're just trying to go for the ball, keep it in play, and you forget about those sidelines and all the stuff that comes with them.
That one goes out of play over the sideline. That is Allie Saxton. A good move around the defender, puts it inside the circle. And that's going to be a violation on LeCaire, and Thornton Academy again will take over. I think the weirdest thing about this whole night situation is looking at the scoreboard and seeing it in darkness, and when it's on, you don't see that ever before, really.
Yeah, exactly. And kind of tough to tell. Obviously TA on the left side and the visitor on the right side, but really all you can see is the time on the clock and the score.
All right, stop that ball.
Here comes Saxton.
Although I think the skyline here makes you think of one of those ESPN cover shots on the magazines and stuff, or the Sports Illustrated. It just looks very serene and very cool here at Thornton Academy.
Absolutely. 27 minutes to go in this game, 2-0 Cheverus. Here comes Thornton Academy.
A lot of TA fans spurring their team into action right now.
That's right.
Trying to get the energy up.
It's got to be tough, after the adrenaline of the first half, to come back in the second half down 2 goals, big crowd or not.
And I'm sure they do appreciate all the cheers from this crowd. Pretty impressive one on hand, actually, for TA, but I think a lot of them are actually Cheverus parents and Cheverus fans.
Absolutely. Here comes Sarah LeCaire down, bringing it past a couple defenders into the circle. Puts a shot on. That was a vicious shot. That goes wide and into the soccer net, so that doesn't count for anything here, but it's a goal. Not the right type
not a
of
field
goal.
hockey goal. It's actually funny. You got all 3 sports right there. You got the goal post for football. You got the soccer goal, and obviously the field hockey goal, which is in play right now.
Thornton Academy will bring it out. We haven't seen too much of Mary Brown, number 16. She's a senior for Thornton Academy, and hopefully in the second half she can get on her game. And I think she's been playing on a defense, which is probably why I haven't seen her going forward too much.
One of the 3 seniors for TA. She is definitely a playmaker for this team and a stable leader also for this young team.
Coming down, that's Caitlin Hilton, number 1, trying to give and go play with Jackie Parent. And stolen by Saxton. She's been a beast in the midfield today for the Cheverus Lady Stags. Back to Hilton on the side, and that's going to be a violation on Katie Walsh, and it will move into the Thornton Academy zone. And goes through, and that's going to be out of play, and Cheverus takes over. You hate to keep looking at the clock, but again, as it gets down there, you need to build some momentum, and getting 2 goals, when you get down in the last couple of minutes, is not an easy thing to do. So Thornton Academy really needs to take the next 10 minutes and at least look like they're going to be scoring some goals here, or Cheverus will just do lockdown defense and they won't be able to come back.
You just want to put the pressure on Cheverus to move the ball. You want to make them make the mistake. You don't want to be the one that makes the mistake at this point, and certainly you want to make sure that you keep them away from your goal.
And that's a good chance there for Thornton Academy. They're going to earn, not a corner, but they're going to have the ball outside. They're trying to go down the left side, it looks like, quite a bit on the Cheverus defense.
Mimicking what Cheverus was doing to them earlier on in the game,
seems
actually.
to be the right side today.
That's pretty awesome.
It's the first day of school, so.
We'll work on the catchphrases.
And he plays it in, and it's going to be LeCaire keeping it inbounds. Can she get by this defender? It's going to go out of play, and it looks like it's going to be Cheverus ball. Number 7, Ann Slattery for Cheverus will play it in, looking for Brooke Flaherty in the middle. Number 13, but gives it right away. That was a bad giveaway, and now here comes Thornton Academy. As Hilton moving into the middle. Can she find an attacker? She can.
Wow.
Great play here from the Trojans. Lauren Russell with a great opportunity there for the Trojans, but Cheverus escapes yet again.
And I think that's probably the 5th time in this game that the ball has gone behind the net for Thornton Academy as opposed to in the net, which is something you don't want to see, but at least they're putting shots on, and like you said, these next 10 minutes are crucial for them to see if they can actually stay in this game.
.23 minutes and 30 seconds to go here at Paul S. Hill Junior Stadium in the season opener between Cheverus and Thornton Academy. Cheverus has led throughout, scored a couple minutes into the game, and had a 2-0 lead within 10 minutes. Since then, it's been all quiet on the scoreboard. But again, Thornton Academy spending most of the time in Cheverus's end so far this half, which is a good sign of things to come in the last couple of minutes, 20 minutes.
And after those first 10 minutes, you thought that this might be a scoring highlight reel for both of these teams, or at least for Cheverus, but it has quieted down since then quite a bit.
Morgan Doobie, number 6 for Thornton Academy. As Thornton Academy still tries to move into the circle. If they can get into the circle and earn a couple of corners, They could go do a lot for their momentum, but they haven't been able to do that. But here they come right in front, and again, that's Lauren Russell, who's been very active here in the second half, but again, she puts it wide, and it will be Cheverus's ball coming out.
She has been actually very close on 3 different plays now, and you get the feeling that sooner or later, obviously if there was more time in this game, it'd be more to her benefit, but you get the feeling that sooner or later she will find success, or at least you hope for her sake that she does.
That shot's going to come all the way in, and it's going to go out for yet another Cheverus.
And that's going to roll for a while.
That is. So obviously it's been a beautiful day here and a beautiful night as we see a look at the sunset and back on to action on the field as Cheverus continuing to keep the pressure up and keeps that 2-0 lead. The longer they keep this lead, the harder it is for Thornton Academy to come back and get the momentum to get that second goal. Here comes Cheverus. That's Emily Rodrigue, number 11. She has both goals for Cheverus today. Here comes LeCaire. Sends that one in. Looking for Logan. And it's Brooke Flaherty trying to get onto it, but a good play there from Thornton Academy. Nicole Moore, another senior captain. She moves it out of the circle. And that one comes right inside, and a great chance there on the doorstep for Alex Logan to get her first goal of the season, her first varsity goal. But it goes just wide, and Thornton Academy will now have possession coming out from the 15-yard line. This game is played on a 100-yard pitch. And the number of turf fields is growing. Obviously Scarborough, now Thornton Academy. Cape Elizabeth obviously plays on turf, but several of the other teams are still looking to get that turf field, even just for field hockey. Violation on Thornton Academy, and Cheverus takes over.
That was an interesting decision by Thornton Academy on that play to send the ball to the left side of the field. There were a lot of Cheverus defenders over there and a lot of Cheverus midfielders over there, and definitely a lot of traffic overall. So I'm surprised they didn't go actually to the right side where there was a little bit more of an opening and a better opportunity to move the ball down the field.
And that is going to be a violation, looks like, on Thornton Academy. So Cheverus will have a chance to move it in. It's going to be Katie Walsh taking it. Oh, it will be Allie Saxton.
This is absolutely what you don't want to see if you are on the Thornton Academy sideline right now, because Cheverus has a good chance to put this game really out of reach for Thornton Academy, and if not, they're at least putting the pressure on them and chewing up time.
Absolutely. Saxton moving it around, but it's taken away. Good play by Caitlin Hilton. She's been very active for the Trojans, as has Lauren Russell. Annie DeLisio, number 16, comes up from defense to make the play and keeps it in. And there's LeCaire. It's going to be a push on Thornton Academy. Much like girls lacrosse, there's really no physical contact allowed. I mean, you could try with your stick, but any kind of physical contact is usually called for a violation. There's Katie Walsh. Moved out of the circle. Very good play there from Thornton Academy. Though back into the middle of the field, probably not the best place to go, but here comes the rush.
They're charging nonetheless.
Lauren Russell, but that's going to hit a foot up a Trojan attacker and come all the way back.
And just like that, it stopped.
It's got to be very frustrating for the Trojans right now. Just can't get anything going forward, and you hope that maybe a breakout may open up the attack for them, but so far it hasn't happened.
Speed is definitely their advantage, and if they can use that to get the ball down the field, then they'll be in good shape to score a goal. But until then, they're going to keep having to play defense against this very good Cheverus team.
And here comes Thornton Academy, but again, Cheverus defense, that was a push maybe on Cheverus getting away with it. Laura Peabody Harrington, a junior defender. And here comes Logan. But cut out by Thornton Academy. And it'll be Thornton Academy ball. Still a lot of time, 18 minutes and change, but a lot of time being wasted here in the Cheverus end.
And if anything else, you'd like to see TA get at least one goal in this game, just to solidify the work that they've done in the preseason, give them some positive vibes going into the next game, just to kind of get some momentum going for future games.
I mean, obviously, maybe a 2-1 loss against the defending regional champions is nothing to be too upset about, but
especially if they can get the last say and they can score that goal and have the final goal of the game.
All right, we're gonna have a timeout on the field here. 17:45 to go in this one, and right now it remains Cheverus 2 and Thornton Academy nothing. You're in Thornton Academy TV. Thornton Academy still looking for that first elusive goal, and the way things are going, obviously, if they score that first goal, you really believe that they have a chance to come back and send this game into overtime.
As you said before, anything is possible with high school sports, and if TA can just get that one goal, they are one goal closer to tying this game up.
Cheverus, though, they're really looking like they're a little more conditioned right now than the Trojans. They're keeping the ball in their end. That's going to be sent right in front, almost by Logan. Alex Logan's first time I've seen her. Obviously, she was not on the varsity team last year, and she's been very impressive. Maybe so much in the moves category, but she's keeping the ball in the circle and getting it to her teammates, which is sometimes you need role players like that to be successful.
Well, it's worth asking. You obviously covered the team in depth last year. Looking at the team so far in today's game, who has been the biggest surprise player for you? And I think I know your answer to this one, but just making plays on the field, helping their team get those 2 goals.
No, I think definitely, obviously, Emily Rodriguez. I mean, she was a monster in that first 10 minutes of the game. But really, I must say, Stacy Swallow in the midfield. I mean, I haven't seen too much of her here in the second half as that ball goes out of play, and it will be a Thornton Academy coming out. Swallow has been, she's been all over the place, and she's the kind of player where she has some physical tools, but wasn't able to harness them that last year. And like they have a very young team. They had a lot of sophomores last year, and she was unable to kind of control the ball in the midfield. But today, she's been going box to box, or circle to circle, I guess you would say, and really shown something that she could be a real force in the midfield, which they have the players up front with LeCaire to score the goals, but they need that midfield. They need the service, just like in soccer. They need that number 10 sitting behind the strikers to give the service. And certainly Allie Saxton, also number 5, she's been a real rock for the Trojans, and for the Lady Stags. And once they get all the injuries back, they're going to be a very tough team to play.
Yeah, it definitely seems so. And it's worth mentioning, too, that this Cheverus team has had very good control of the ball in this game, as opposed to TA, which has been a little bit shaky at times, especially on offense, trying to pass the ball. A lot of Cheverus' shots have been right on target, and a lot of their passes have been very solid as well.
They did go to when I was down there at practice last week and talking to the Cheverus team, they did say that they went to a camp together that was all turf. So they have a lot of experience on turf, and unfortunately for the Golden Trojans, they were only able to get on this turf last Thursday night, I believe. So really only a handful of days of practice on the turf, and certainly it's a completely different surface to play on. And I actually had a chance to play a couple of scrimmages last year with the team during their practices. It's a much tougher game than it looks, and I have all the respect in the world for these girls to keep the ball from hitting your foot. It looks maybe like, oh, it's hockey, but it's very difficult, and playing on turf is definitely much better, but much faster. You get very winded very quickly.
So what I'm hearing is that you will not be doing an adult field hockey league at any point? You're not?
No. I won't be suing to get into any female leagues either, so. There's a good shot forward by Brooke Flaherty, and there's Rodriguez on the chase. Rodriguez it seemed like the type of player that she's kind of saving her strength, but here comes another shot and another goal. That's going to be Sarah LeCaire, scoring the 3rd goal of the game for Cheverus. And obviously she's been a rock for Cheverus all night, been all around the net, and it's no surprise she finally got a goal here, and that really puts the Trojans in a bad way.
And you get the feeling here that that is definitely probably the nail in the coffin for TA, at least in terms of winning this game. Very hard to come back from a 3-0 deficit with only a little under 15 minutes to go.
Well, we've seen in the last couple of minutes, obviously, the Lady Stags really have kind of put the hammer down and are looking a little more conditioned, a little more used to this turf. And just the first game of the year, obviously, Cheverus went out and they lost 4 games in the regular season last year and ended up going to the state finals. So it's
well, you don't want to say this too early in the season, but at this point it does appear that Cheverus is a team on a mission to make up for that loss in the championship last year. And obviously they have a long way to go, a lot of games to play before they get there, but they certainly have looked solid so far in this one.
Thornton Academy sure has, that's going to be a violation.
That's way high.
Can't hit the ball that high. Thornton Academy has definitely shown some flashes, though. I mean, especially with the speed on the wings. I think, once you get players like Caitlin Hilton on the wings and learning a little more maybe skill moves to get around some of the defenders, her natural speed, she was blown by defenders left and right. So I think Thornton Academy has a lot to take from this game. If they can get a goal, great. Or, never know. Anything can happen in 13 minutes, but if they do end up maybe getting a goal here, it's a lot to take for Coach Lori Smith as they head into the rest of their schedule and get the opening night out of the way and really focus on the nuts and bolts of the season. I think they'll be fine. I think they're probably looking at least middle of the pack team, maybe in the upper echelon, right behind Cheverus and Scarborough, contending for the Class A regional title.
And they do say that a lot of times teams learn more from their losses than their wins, and of course that's definitely probably the golden lining for TA in this game, where it does look like they're probably gonna lose to Cheverus, but they can take away some things from this game that were good, and obviously look to improve as they move forward.
Just under 13 minutes to go here in the second half. Cheverus leading 3-0. So obviously, this is our first broadcast of the new school year for sports, but it's definitely not going to be the last one. Tyler, you want to talk a little bit about our new football pregame and halftime show we're going to be doing this year?
Yeah, we actually have a lot coming up in the sports department. Most notably, our like you said, our live pregame and halftime show, which is going to air with every home game for the varsity Golden Trojans. And actually, we're going to tape our first one during this week's game against Bonnie Eagle. It's not going to be a live event, but it is going to be taped and shown later on in the week. Looking at a very, very fun season. Obviously some good games the Trojans are going to play here at home and on the road. And it's worth mentioning too that they have quite a difficult schedule this year. 3 games on the road and some very tough teams they're going to face as they try and make a run toward the playoffs.
You know, they've redone the scheduling this year. Even the home games, they get Bonnie Eagle to open up, which is perennial power, obviously, one of the favorites to win the state title this year. They also play Wyndham at home, who everybody says is, and I obviously covered the Wyndham team again last year, and last year they definitely weren't ready for the big time, but they got a lot of big guys up front. They also play Scarborough at home during the homecoming week, and then of course Battle of the Bridge here on a late Saturday in late October. There's nothing better than that. So
definitely looking forward to those games. Looks like it's going to be a great.
Myself and you and Carl Smith, the former UMaine star and husband of Coach Laurie Smith here, is going to join us on the pregame show, and we're going to have interviews with Coach Kiesel and some local media people as well. And I think it's going to be a really fun experience for those at home who can't make the game, but of course, like you said, the live feed is still working on the technical aspects, as we have the stadium still under construction a little bit, the press box, so we'll get them live as much as we can, but certainly we'll be getting them on tape as well to show to the community. Thorn Academy here into the offensive zone. We'll see how Cheverus stays focused here, up 3 goals. You know, it's usually a pretty insurmountable lead, but you never know what can happen here. Thorn Academy gets a goal or two in the next couple of minutes, and there'll be a very nervy last few. That's Annie Delicio for Cheverus. And she gets a push called against Thorn Academy. That will go the other way. That one looked like a little soft call to me.
It certainly, it seems like one of those calls that went because of the situation at this point with the game, the score being 3-0.
I think the referee has done a pretty good job today. And I feel like it's a pretty straightforward sport. It's usually it's a foul or not. So it's tough to have any controversy, but here
you got to give them credit too. They're running up and down the field, just as often. And this game involves a lot of running like soccer, so definitely give the referees credit.
LeCaire still working very hard. She's one of those people like I guess a Dustin Pedroy who's just, she only knows one speed, and that's 100%. And you always want to have somebody like that in your team who's going to run up and down the field no matter what the score, up or down. And that's going to be a violation on LeCaire, and Thorn Academy will bring it out. We're just about to hit the 10-minute mark to go in the opener between Thorn Academy and Cheverus.
I think LeCaire is definitely one of those athletes who makes opportunities for herself. She doesn't sit back on her heels and wait for them to come. I think she definitely stabs at the ball, tries to make good plays, and as a result, she usually helps her team do very well.
And that's going to be a corner for Cheverus. And it looks like it's going to be, I think it's Elise Coleman going to take the corner for Cheverus. And she brings it out, and it's going to be Stacey Swallow giving it up to Rodrigue. That's Allie Saxon sending it in, almost deflected there. At least Coleman was on the doorstep, but couldn't get it in. A good play there from Cheverus, but they couldn't cash in.
She had visions of a 4th goal for the Lady Stags, just a little bit to the right, though. A very good shot nonetheless.
So Thorn Academy again bringing it out. Haven't had a whole lot of chances here in the second half, but.
Oh no! Defense! Defense! Get that ball! Come on, TA! Oh no!
That's coming right inside. Number 17, right on the doorstep. That was Rodrigue. And it looks like Rodrigue is the one who puts it into the back of the net. So she does get her 3rd goal.
She's got a hat trick
Stacey
tonight.
Swallow is with it right on the doorstep. But with 8:45 to go here In the game, Rodriguez surpassed her entire goal total from 2010 in the first game as she scores her 3rd goal of the game. And again,
whatever her routine was this morning, probably wants to keep that up for the rest of the season because she has been on fire this whole game.
Of course, that play was made by Alex Logan, number 17, on the side of the goal. A very good play from the first-time player. So it's Cheverus is really looking strong in the attack. A lot of different people getting involved. It has been Rodriguez scoring 3 goals, but it's been Logan and Swallow and everybody else helping out to make those chances.
Working behind the scenes, not scoring the goal, but setting it up and making those big plays.
Morgan, nice job, Morgan.
And with that goal, I definitely think it seems as if TA's chances of remotely coming back in this game have been sealed shut. But they can still play hard for the last 9 or so minutes here and try and put some good numbers up and just try and get some good runs, test out that speed.
And I think for Lower Smith, again, it's you want to see who's gonna put it all out there for you. And you have every reason to almost quit right now, but if you don't, it really shows a lot of character. And I think character is something that they really talked about at practice. You know, when I asked each of the seniors what would be a successful year for them, all 3 of them said that we went out there as a team, we played our hardest. That's really what's all important. And so that's really what it's all about when it comes to high school athletics.
And this is really where those 3 seniors need to step up and try and lead the team by example, try and really play as hard as they can, and hopefully their other teammates will follow suit. This crowd here very subdued now that TA has gone down by 4 goals, but I will tell you that it is a very, very interesting, probably the better word would be exciting scene to see the lights on here, the new stadium, the sun setting over the trees. It's just picture perfect, really a glorious shot.
Absolutely, it is a very, very good scene and a great addition to the Thornton Academy community, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of wins. Even may tonight not be a win, there's going to be a lot of wins on this field under these lights.
You know what I think it is? I think it's because we're sitting on the visitor's side.
That's probably right.
There's some unluckiness to that. I think we need to be back on the bleachers on the home side.
So we got 6 minutes and a little over 6 minutes and 30 seconds to go. Here comes Cheverus, not giving up. Rodriguez going down, looking for her fourth goal of the game, which would be quite a feat even for the first game of the season. She sends it into the circle. Good defense there by the Trojans, and that was a great play right there. Even putting it right out of the circle. You don't want to keep it in the circle and give up penalty corners.
That was the mistake that both teams were making early on in this game, where they were keeping it in the circle or passing it into the circle on defense. You don't want to do that. You want to get it out real quick, and that is a great play to keep the ball out.
Again, we continue to have running time here, even when the ball goes out of play. And clock continues to run. It's under 6 minutes to go. And it's going to be out of play. Last year at this time, Cheverus opened their season against Deering, an away game on turf, under the lights, and they beat Deering 5-0. So it was a very similar start. That game, that was the coming out party for Emily Sawchuk, as she had a goal that she ran about 50 yards down the field, beat 6 defenders, and scored. It was quite a sight to see. But we'll see how teams respond after this game. Certainly, Coach McMullen for Cheverus is not going to rest on these laurels because every game is different, and they could go out and lose to pretty much any team in this division because, again, it's going to be a very equal year in Class A West.
On any given day, you can be the best team, you can be the worst team. It's important to not inflate yourself too much when you get a big win like this, but also for TA, you don't want to get too down. You want to put this behind you, take some good lessons away from it, and move forward, move on to the next games.
And here comes Cheverus moving down again. A little trick attempted there. That was Julia Lambert in for the Lady Stags. And attempted a nice little trick move there. Didn't really work out for her though. Here comes Rodriguez through the midfield, trying to send it down to her teammate Alex Logan. Rodriguez again sending it into the middle. Elise Coleman can't handle it. And it's Thornton Academy's Caitlin Hilton. Again, a very good game for her, even despite the loss. Hilton's been a very bright spot, and I think she's going to score a lot of goals for this team this year.
She has just been solid all game long. Again, making those opportunities, not waiting for them to come to her. She has been on the ball, on top of it all game long, and really trying to lift this TA team, even though it's been unsuccessful to this point. Although that score of 4-0 is a little bit misleading because it does seem like more of a blowout than this game actually was. And really, if you take out the first 10 minutes and the last 10 minutes, it really was a close game. But of course, you got to play the full 60 minutes, and that's where TA got hurt.
And I think anybody watching this game will say it's a fair result for Cheverus to get the win. But I don't think, again, I agree, it's not been a 4-0. It's just been a couple of lapses on defense for the Trojans. But that's why they play the game for 60 full minutes. It's a very difficult game. There's constant running time, and they have to be on top of it for all 60 minutes, or you can get hurt by good attacking teams like the Lady Stags.
And Emily Rodriguez, definitely coming up big in this game for the Lady Stags. I think she was the difference maker. I mean, obviously they had a lot of players who were doing some big things on offense and defense, but she really, just putting the ball in the net, got them out to that early lead, and it's been smooth sailing since.
Just over 3 minutes ago here in the first official game of the season.
I'll tell you, if you saw games like this all last year, I have no doubt why you stayed with them. This is great.
Well, they were like I said, they're a very fun bunch to be around. And I think what's great about the documentary I did is not only with them, but the women's football team, is to see what high school athletes go through the entire season. You start off in mid-August, you're still enjoying the summer vacation, and you're doing 2-a-days in the 80 or 90 degree heat like we had. And to go through the ups and downs of a season, the team events, it was a great thing to watch. And yes, it did help that they ended up having a magical run and beat Scarborough in the regional semifinals for the first time in program history, and then beat Bonnie Eagle, who beat Thornton Academy in the regional final. And I think it was a great group of girls, and I'm sure if you follow a team like Thornton Academy or for girls field hockey, I'm sure it's probably the same thing. You really realize how great kids they are, and with coaches like Coach McMullen from Cheverus and Coach Smith from Thornton Academy, I mean, you really can't get any better, and it was just a great experience. But it's also nice to be up here, and as we get another goal for Cheverus.
And you want to talk about a mirror image for this team with their start last year and this year. 5-0 wins on turf away against Steering and TA. Definitely a good start for them.
Looks like another goal for Emily Rodriguez. That's her 4th goal of the game. Now what again? So with 2:11 to go here, it's 5-0. 4 goals for Emily Rodriguez today.
She has just been in the right spot at the right time and making some big plays.
It's pretty easy for a play-by-play guy, because whoever grabs the ball out of the back of the net, that's who scored the goal. That's a tradition in field hockey, so it's pretty easy.
I did not know that, so.
Even if you did, especially in a play like that, you don't know what deflections took place, and they'll work it out as they're running towards the goal to see who's the last one to hit it. So it looks like Rodriguez got that one.
Okay.
Here comes Thornton Academy down the other end, trying to get a consolation goal. As we had under 2 minutes to go, it's going to be a corner. So Emily Rodriguez, 2 goals last year. Both came in the same game. She came in the same game against Portland, I believe, last year. Was a supplemental player, but was never really an attacking force. But this year,
do we dare say that she may be the replacement at this point, or at least a candidate for the replacement of Emily Sawchuk?
I don't know if we'll go that far.
You don't think so just yet?
I mean,
definitely a good outing for sure, though.
That Emily, if she puts her mind to it, she can be one of the best players in this Class A. But
yeah.
She's only a junior again. She still has another couple years to build her game up. But certainly tonight's performance, at least the opportunistic part of her game, is very impressive. Emily Sawchuk is just one of the most naturally skilled field hockey players you'll ever see, as far as being able to make moves around defenders. Whereas Emily Rodriguez, she's got a motor that won't quit, and she's
just seeing the ball well tonight. You can tell. When you get 4 goals, you got to be seeing the ball well.
Absolutely. So we're under a minute to go here. It's 50 seconds to go. And as we'll play this one out, and it'll be a very good win for Cheverus as they start the season. I think, Thornton Academy's questions, conditioning, obviously, that'll come. I don't think it's going to be an issue for them going forward, but I think, first game of the year, it's always difficult on turf, especially if you haven't had too much practice on it to run up and down the field. So.
Right, and that should be well noted, too. They haven't had a lot of time to practice on this field. It's been very limited access up until late last week, so they're still trying to get their bearings. I have no doubt that this team will have a much smoother time against some of their later opponents here at home.
So we got about 10 seconds to go here. It's been a very good evening for Thornton Academy, of course. Besides the scoreline, opening up the new stadium, they got that out of the way. They can focus on the rest of the year. And even though they did go down 5-0 to this Cheverus team tonight, nothing to hold their heads down. Cheverus looked very good tonight, defending regional champions. The final whistle sounds, and Thornton Academy will go down 5-0. So, Tyler, your final thoughts on this game tonight?
I think Cheverus looks really solid. You know, it's a little bit early to be making predictions for the playoffs, but I think they looked like a really good team, a team that definitely has their sights set on the playoffs. Obviously, TA went into this game with a much similar mentality. They still look like a good team. They had a lot of speed, or at least they had some bursts of speed out there on the field. Also, some very good opportunities to score some goals. I don't think the Golden Trojans should hang their heads too low because they definitely kept in this game right up until the last 7 or so minutes. Really, both of these teams looking very solid, but Cheverus, obviously, with Emily Rodrigue and all those players at midfield, definitely looking like a very solid team at this point.
Absolutely. Look at mid-season form right now, but you never know what can happen. So that's going to wrap it up here for this broadcast. We thank you for joining us on the opening game at the new Paulus Hill Junior Stadium, and there'll be plenty more to come where this came from. So final score once more, it's Cheverus 5 and Thornton Academy 0 here on Thornton Academy TV.